Hello everyone! If you ever had any interest in Vox AC30, you might have noticed that it comes with two different speakers. So what's the difference, and does it make any sense to pay more for Blue speakers? These are questions I was asking myself for a while, until I decided to make this video and try to answer them, paying attention to every detail, just like I always do. I told you about this to my friends at Just Music store in Berlin, Germany. It is one of those stores where you can spend hours checking different things just because they have so many of them. Anyway, they really liked the idea and were very kind to provide 2 amps for testing. So what's the difference? Wikipedia tells us AC30 was introduced in 1959 and it had Blue speakers. Greenbacks appeared on this model later in an attempt to make the amplifier cheaper. So it is Alnico Blue you hear on those recordings from the 60s. Now let's take a look at the specs at the official website. Greenback has higher power rating, 25 watts against 15, ceramic magnet versus Alnico, and it is almost 1.5 pounds lighter than the Blue speaker. Well, optically the Blue one looks so much bigger. Now let's check the prices. Just Music Store does not sell speakers, so I looked for the official distributor in Germany and found Tube Amp Doctor. I want to keep all the prices in mind, so I'll write them down. It is 125 euros for Greenback and 279 for Alnico Blue. Now let's do the math. If I buy a pair of each, I'll pay 308 euros more for a pair of Blue speakers. Now let's check prices on the amps. Apparently there are 2 prices, the actual price and so-called recommended retail price. I'll write both of them down. Exactly the same C2 model with Blue speakers is much more expensive. Now let's do the same for hand-wired series. It is 1,508 euros versus 2,022. Now, in theory, the difference in price for exactly the same 2 amps with different speakers must be 308 euros, because this is how much more a pair of Blue speakers costs. We've checked that earlier. In reality though, there is some mysterious math behind these numbers. When a potential buyer sees this, his reaction must be something like, "What the? You gotta be kidding!" That was mine at least. This is what I call very questionable pricing with no logical explanation whatsoever. Look at the recommended prices difference, it's ridiculous. I can get an amp with Greenbacks and then buy a pair of Blue speakers on top, and it will still be cheaper than the recommended price for an amp with Alnicos. Well, I'll leave it up to you. Next chapter. So, I've got AC30 C2 with Greenback speakers and hand-wired version carrying Alnico Blue. Well, you may say these are different amplifiers. I know. Luckily, C2 has external speaker output, which I can use to connect Alnico Blue speakers. So I'll be using C2 with its own Greenback speakers first, and then, to keep the test fair, I'll connect a pair of Blue speakers to it as an external cabinet. Also, I want to make sure that mics are positioned in exactly the same way. With all that being said, let's finally plug and play. I'll begin with condenser microphone and then change to dynamic. Follow the picture on the left. Dynamic mic now. Let's get some crunch tone. Now top boost channel. Changing the mic. Now let's get back to normal channel and try it with Gibson guitar. Because the output is very hot, I turned down the volume. Now let's switch to the normal high input. Top boost channel. This amplifier has a loop to connect external effects, and I want to try it with an external preamp. First of all, because I can hear the difference in tone better on higher gain, and some people may actually use this kind of setup. Now I'm gonna use another preamp to get even more extreme. Well, this was an interesting test. I hope this video answered your questions. It surely answered mine. Which speakers would you prefer, green or blue? Let me know in the comments below. As always, feel free to like and share this video, don't forget to subscribe. That's it for the moment. Thanks for watching.